Hello, and welcome back to the second installment of the Credit Genius U Credit Education series. This week, we will be discussing utilization ratios and how they can affect up to 30% of your FICO score. So what is a utilization ratio anyway? Well, good question. Your utilization ratio primarily applies to your revolving lines of credit, such as credit cards. It represents the ratio between your maximum limit and the amount you currently owe. Let's look at an example. If you have a credit card with a $10,000 maximum limit and you owe $3,000, then your utilization ratio is 30%. As you can see, we calculated this simply by dividing the amount that you owe into your maximum allowed limit. So what does this all mean, and why do you need to know your utilization ratios anyway? Well, we've been collecting credit data in the U.S. since about 1899, and in that time, creditors have come to understand many things about consumer spending habits. One thing we know is that a consumer with an average utilization ratio of above 75% is about 300 to 500% more likely to file bankruptcy than a consumer with lower utilization ratios. So the next question is, what is the magic number that you should work to achieve when it comes to utilization ratios? Well, the simple answer is that the lower your ratios are, the better your scores will be. But to get a bit more exact, you really want your utilization ratios to be below 30%. And if you're trying to build your credit score, keeping all of your ratios below 30% is one of the fastest ways that most consumers can increase credit scores quickly. Also, remember that it's not enough to simply pay your cards down to below 30% at the end of each month. You need to actually keep them there at all times if you want the maximum positive effect on your scores. The important thing here is not to get overwhelmed and give up when trying to pay down your revolving lines. Many consumers have multiple credit cards with utilization ratios above 30%, and it can feel overwhelming to try and get them all paid down at once. Our advice is just to take it one card at a time. Once you get one card paid down to 30%, move on to the next card and continue that process until they are all below 30%, or what we like to call the credit building zone. Next week, we will cover length of credit history and average age of open accounts, a category that affects up to 15% of your total credit score. So until then, thanks for watching, and remember, with a little bit of work and our help, you too can be a credit genius.